Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Excited to talk about the Park City Education Fund's teacher grants. This morning we have in studio Sarah Hutchinson. She's the programs officer with PCEF, and also Dirk Bill, volunteer with the teacher grant, or rather the Park City Education Fund teacher grants, and you are the co-chair.
Co-chair of the teacher grant committee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thanks you guys. Nice to have you here this morning. How are you?
Thank you. Good morning.
I know, bright and early today for your Monday morning. But excited to have you guys here because what you are doing means so much, of course, to education, to the children here in the community and their experience with Park City's school district and such. But I'm so thrilled to have you guys here to share with us what it is that these funds actually do and how they help us here in the community. But before we get to that, Sarah, let's start with you. Tell me about your position and what exactly you do.
Yes, good morning. Chelsea, started working at the Park City Education Foundation this summer, and there's a small staff, there's 4 of us, and prior to hiring me, the girls that were in the office were doing a lot of different things with the fundraising, and Abby McNulty's executive director, and so the foundation is growing so much that they were able to hire me part-time to focus just on the programs. So I started in August, and I looked at the teacher grant process, was the first thing that I did, and looked to see how it was working and how I could streamline it, and started working with the teachers and went to the schools to market these grants. And the teacher grants come up once a year, and we award them right after Thanksgiving. They're due at Halloween, and the reason we give out the teacher grants is that they're really the grassroots of the organization. The teachers know what they need in the classroom, and the Park City Education Foundation dollars goes solely back into the classrooms, back into the schools, and our donors are so generous with their money, and so it's just really amazing to be able to look at these applications from teachers and award different grants.
That's so great, the work that you guys are doing to help these teachers actually, and like you said, they know what they need.
Yes.
And you're helping them get access to those resources.
Yes, and you know, one of the criteria is innovation. So we're really looking at programs that are different and things that they can use the money to beyond just books and calculators, and what the teachers are coming up with technology. Or, you know, there's a teacher at Jeremy, Kim Mead, she's a music teacher, and she applied for a grant for African drums.
Wow.
Super cool. So, I mean, they're really looking at how these kids can just have a great education using some extra funds for grants.
Exactly. Dirk, tell me about what you do.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be on the board for the Park City Ed Foundation, and just wanted to back up a little bit and say this is the oldest running program funded by the Ed Foundation. So about $50,000 went into the teacher grant pool, and that's just one effort of the foundation. Raised over $1 million this past year that went into school education programs. So day job is with Deer Valley Resort, and Deer Valley Resort helps sponsor the teacher grant program. So I get to sit on the board and be a co-chair for the process. Our other co-chair, Lynn Sear, who isn't here today, really has been on that committee a long time. She's the brains of the operation. And
she's amazing.
She's great. And she's assembled this incredible group of parents and advocates for students that work that process and award the grants and have a lot of institutional knowledge about what would work in the school and what would be innovative. So it's really great to be part of that whole process and see that money go out. And as Sarah mentioned, it really is grassroots. It really is dollars going into classrooms that help students. And some of these programs are pilot programs that actually grow into larger district or school grants. And it's kind of an incubator, if you will, in that regard. So it's really effective money spent that really touches a lot of students.
I like how you guys use the word innovative and kind of like this unique approach to helping kids learn and thinking of these resources and items that they need to help them have even a greater educational experience.
Right.
Let's get more details. I mean, you mentioned the teacher that wanted to get the African drums. What are some other examples of things that are being brought into classrooms and what teachers are trying to do with these funds?
Right. One of my other favorite examples is Trailside. I have 2 kids, and I have a 1st and a 4th grader. They're both in the dual immersion program in French, and the 2nd grade dual immersion teacher, Libby Wadman, came and applied for a grant using puppets. she wanted to buy puppets for the kids because some of the kids are shy when they're speaking French. So she had this idea, if I could get some puppets and we could get the kids playing with the puppets and speaking in French.
Isn't that interesting?
I love
how
that.
your brain works to like help you feel more comfortable doing something. And she recognized that.
And
That's
it's a little
brilliant.
silly, but it's fun, and she's super passionate about it. And so I'm excited as a parent because I have a first grader going to be in her class next year, and that's just a neat way to use some funds.
Wonderful.
Yeah, another example I just threw out there, because there's a pretty wide range, I think, is that we do, there was a composer in residence where they're bringing in a music person to design pieces and interact with the students in the process, and that was pretty innovative. There's also a separate program that the Ed Foundation funds called Author in Residence, where the high school kids read a book by an author. The author is brought in. It was kind of a teacher spin-off on that. So there's quite a few. We had I thought was pretty neat is through an engineering curriculum, there's designing a solar panel project where they're actually manufacturing and designing that. And it's going to be actually implemented at the school. So there's some that cross over a lot of curriculums and classrooms too, and they're integrated between different grade levels and subjects. So the teachers have some great ideas, and it's easy
and
to
I
find
love
them.
that composer, Scott Tanner. He's the orchestra teacher, and he's flying this guy, Stuart Brown, over from London. And so he's teaching his class a Stuart Brown piece. And so they're going to be playing with this composer. And then we are also able to open that up to the community. So we'll have a night where they can come. And so we love that at the foundation, to be able to bring in our donors, our parents, you know, the students, and really kind of blend these grants to reach as many people as possible. So that's just really cool. I love that one.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there's such a broad range of ways in which these teachers are utilizing these funds, which I think makes you feel really good about what's happening in the education system here in Park City to see this innovation.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, the school district does such a great job funding the classroom to the best they can, but this is what really differentiates, I think, the education here in Park City at the public schools.
Standout.
And all 7 schools get money. So there's representation across elementary, middle school, junior high, and high school. And we love that. So
yeah, good to note that every school in the district was a beneficiary of the grants program, and basically every grade level. So you know, thanking all the folks that support Ed Foundation. It really does touch a huge range of students, and it's not just focused on one school or grade level or curriculum. So it's a real nice broad.
Yeah, and Dirk, you mentioned that Deer Valley helps out with this.
Yeah, we sponsor, we have kind of channeled our sponsorship into the teacher-specific program, so we help fund. We don't entirely fund, I want to make that clear, the teacher grant process, and we also help sponsor the Excellent Educator Awards, which recognize an outstanding teacher at each school. So that's kind of the Deer Valley focus of our contribution. So,
describe how Running with Ed plays into this.
Yeah,
what's that connection?
The Ed Foundation has 3 major fundraising mechanisms. One is Running with Ed, which is a great community race most people are familiar with. We also have the Red Apple Gala, which is an evening auction fundraiser. And then the most important, I think, is the parent appeal and process, where we really do rely on the individual donations from families and parents. And they're not always parents, but alum and all that. So we would just really encourage everyone to contribute in any way they can, as little as they can or as much as they can. And those are the sources, for the most part, that make up that $1 million goal.
Well, let's remind teachers out there, if they are interested in applying for these grants, and because initially my thought is, well, what's the probability of someone getting one? What helps them secure one of these grants?
Good question.
Sure. All the information's on our website, which is PCEF for Kids. That's the Park City Education Foundation website. And the probability is pretty high if they have a good idea and if they're within the guidelines of the criteria for the grant. And so the cycle for teacher grants is over now for this year, because we fund them before Christmas, and so then they can use the funds in the second half of the school year. But if they do have an idea and they want to work with the principal, we're going to come up on school grants. We have another cycle. We award them in the spring for next year, for the 2015-16 school year. And then in the summer, we'll work with the district. We work with Dr. Connolly and Dr. Einhorn, and they're really, they're putting together big grants. We fund the preschool, we fund after school, we fund science fair, things like that, that are district-wide, that touch all the schools. And so teachers can really get involved either on the individual level for teacher grants in the fall, or they can work with their administrators for a larger grant in the spring and the summer.
Very good. Dirk, anything else to add?
Well, I just wanted to tag on that it's a high success ratio that they're funded, but also there are things that maybe are a little off criteria that can be moved up to a school grant or district level, and the Ed Foundation does have some discretionary funds. So we really encourage that application process, and we like to not say no as much as maybe try this avenue. And usually I'd say most of the grants that meet the criteria get some degree of funding or some assistance in funding. So it's a nice, happy process where a lot of people get their money and make great things happen. So I just want to add thanks to the teachers. They're the ones that really make this happen. We got this great volunteer board and fundraising, but they're the ones with the boots on the ground that are in the classrooms. They see the need, they bring it up, and they make it happen. So thanks to the Park City teachers.
That's right.
Great to hear. Well, you guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sarah and Dirk, and as they mentioned, go online to the Park City Education Fund website for more information and details on deadlines and such that you need to register for one of those grants. So thank you very much. Both of you have a wonderful Monday morning. If I was you, I'd like go back home and take a nap.
He's going to solitude. So.
Hey. Are you playing hooky?
Are we off the air now?
Yeah, he won't be into work today. But thanks you guys so much. Nice to have you here. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to be joined by the VP of Communications for USSA, Tom Kelly, an update on Team USA and how things went over at the FIS World Cup at Deer Valley.